Good morning. I hope that this finds you well and in good spirits. Today's Love Church is coming from Greensboro, North Carolina on July 26, 2026. And we'll get started as we usually do by just taking some breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, invite your mind, body, and energy to relax, 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 relax. And as we move into this space of complete relaxation, we open up our energies to the ancestors, loved ones, and friends to come together today to heal and guide us and lift us to the highest version of ourselves in the light of the universe. So you may hear what you need to hear, know what you need to know, connect how you need to connect, or be what you need to be for your highest and best good and the highest and best good of all involved as we open up space to heal and harmonize. Let's just feel ourselves into this present moment positioning, giving ourselves permission to call in whatever we may need with our in-breath and release out anything that is not ours with our out-breath. And as we breathe in and out, allowing ourselves to become present in this moment in our mind, body, and energy. We open up to give and receive whatever it is that we need. Being open, being curious, being inquisitive to this present message. As we take what we need and leave what doesn't feel good and come back to it at a later point. All right, so today I am going to read from, I'm going to read from How to Eat. We don't read from this one often, but it's a good one, How to Eat. And these are little books. There's a whole little series of these that you can get that just have like little nuggets of information that Thich Nhat Hanh has said that they arranged into a little way to connect with different messages. So random choose at page 114, beginning to eat. With the first mouthful, I practice the love that brings joy. With the second mouthful, I practice the love that relieves suffering. With the third mouthful, I practice the joy of being alive. With the fourth mouthful, I practice equal love for all beings. That's really beautiful. During the time we eat the first mouthful, we express our gratitude by promising to bring joy to at least one person. With the second mouthful, we can promise to help relieve the pain of at least one person. With the third mouthful, we are in touch with the wonders of life. With the fourth mouthful, we practice inclusiveness and the love that is characterized by non-discrimination. After this, we get in touch with the food and its deep nature. I am going to practice that every meal this week. I hope you will too. All right, so that brings me to what I wanted to talk about, or what I received to talk about this week, which is the concept of the Trilogy Bodies. And if you've been around a while, since Love Church has been in some form of another for over, I think this is our anniversary, actually, 16 years maybe. We work on the trilogies a lot. And the trilogy is the connection between the mental, emotional, the energetic, and the physical as one being, one whole being with three bodies that connect it. And oftentimes, even in our nature, our natural nature, in our upbringing for sure, in our experiences in the world and the way that we connect, we realize that we have one that's our favorite. And, we can say we don't have favorites, but we do. And so some people will focus fully on the physical, and it is the spearhead that leads them. But if they don't focus on the emotional or the energetic, then that physical aspect can only take them so far. So, not judging anyone on where they are in their path, but we all have seen someone who is really hyper focused on physical, maybe working out or running or whatever the thing is. And then when we look in their mental emotional spaces, they have a hard time being vulnerable, or they have a perception of vulnerability that may not be to their highest and best good. Or we look at people who are highly emotional and they live from their emotional body and they share everything with everyone all of the time. They might not physically be aware of social cues or how people are physically reacting, or what being in this heightened emotional state does to their physical being. Like, constant in worry equals reactions in the physical body. And so they might have that spearhead of emotional positioning that kind of leaves the other two areas of self and want. And then we have people who are highly energetic. They are super spiritual beings and they connect in a high focus way. And I can say I speak from experience. When I was, well, I guess I'm still mid journey, but when I knew enough to know enough, but not enough to know better, I was very focused in the energetic positioning, which also abandons the physical body and oftentimes leaves us not being able to perform mundane humanly tasks, like remembering to do our car registration or things like that. And so we need to embrace, in order to be whole and full and fulfilled, we need to embrace all three aspects of self. And we can say, duh, like, of course. But oftentimes what happens is, even when we become skillful at recognizing all three of these aspects, we can then, the Haitian saying is, a leaky roof can fool the sun, but it cannot fool the rain. And so recognizing that when a challenge comes up, like say we have a physical ailment, something that is truly physically creating discomfort or maybe even suffering. And if we're a spiritually, energetically focused person, we might try and give all the power to that one aspect and ignore the fact that, yes, I can clear my energy and do energy healing and bring myself up to my highest and best position. But if I'm also not addressing the physical or addressing the emotional, how I feel about the suffering or the emotional aspects that may have contributed to the suffering, then I'm only working on one aspect and the other sides are heavy. And the analogy that comes into my head, the intuitive ping that I get is if someone did all the weightlifting with one arm and they left the legs and the other arm and never worked on them. They would have one really strong arm, and that really strong arm would probably be able to pick up a lot. But if they did equal work on all parts of the self, then they would be able to lift so much more, or they would feel more balanced. They would have an in tuneness. And so we want to respect all three aspects of the self. And in some cases, there will be instances that we connect to where the physical is what I need to focus on. Oh, yes, I maybe need some help with this physical ailment through a Western medicine doctor or through some sort of connection. There will be times where the emotional is actually the thing that needs addressing. Oh, I need to talk to a professional, a trained professional about how I'm feeling about this, or the accumulation of the feelings that may have turned, stress into high blood pressure or whatever the thing is. Like, how do I get to that aspect of it? And then we look at the energetic, because we are a soul residing in a body that's having a human physical experience. And so recognizing that energetic aspect, if my energy is cleansed and cleared, if my energy is uplifted, if my energy is in good position, then the Western medicine will work quicker, faster, more in tune. The emotional work will be lighter to lift and easier to carry. And that allows us to have that fullness. But when we go in through only one angle, and there's been a lot of this talk lately, I feel like it's important for us to honor and respect all parts of ourselves. If you've heard me talk for more than 2 or 3 talks, then you'll realize I also believe we shouldn't eradicate any part of ourselves. We made an agreement to be a physical being, a human on the planet who has emotional experiences, that is a soul residing within those things. And yes, while we are soul first, in my personal opinion, it doesn't mean that the others are inconsequential or don't deserve attention. And so all three, tuning in to the trilogy, and whatever you do, eating the food, how do we tune into the trilogy? Sleeping, how do we tune into the trilogy? Working through a health challenge, how do we tune into the trilogy? All of those things, we are a trilogy, whether we're recognizing it or treating ourselves equally as such. And so really giving ourselves permission to tune into that space and allow the trilogy bodies to do what the trilogy bodies are meant to do, which is work together to hold us in wholeness and wellness and upliftedness and connection. And so, that is what I've been really called to speak to today. I think that if you want more information on the trilogy bodies, then there are some videos that I have posted earlier that talks about the energy system and how it flows. There are courses and classes you can take. There's new ones even on my website that are really going deep into the chakra system and the trilogies. But you just want to recognize that. And my suggested awareness, we could use exactly what Thich Nhat Hanh said. Tune into when you eat your first 4 bites and recognize your emotional state, your physical state, your energetic state as you are going through those motions again. I'm just going to read it again because I think it's important. With the first mouthful, I practice the love that brings joy, emotional. With the second mouthful, I practice the love that relieves suffering. That could be your physical. With the third mouthful, I practice the joy of being alive, and that being energetic. And then with the fourth mouthful, I practice equal love for all beings. And that's the interconnectedness of all things. All beings have a trilogy. So go forward and let me know how that practice works for you in your first 4 bites of food. Maybe I'll do a little reel or something about that so you guys can practice with me. And now we'll go to the art of energy. It is a co-creation of Amy Gordon and myself. It's an Oracle deck set that comes with its own custom bag and a custom card band and 70 beautiful cards, each with their own art on the back, and they're color coded to the chakra system. And then the Art of Energy book that has the awarenesses and an energy action, something you could do a little practice with. So I'll draw the one for the collective first, and then I'll stop the video. And anybody who's in the Zoom, I will draw cards for you and we can discuss. So the collective card is card number 31. And card number 31 has to do with the energy of, let me get to that page, judgment or denial in the throat chakra. And the words that go with the art, Amy writes these little poems that goes with the beautiful art, which this card is really a great card if you haven't seen it. And you can, I'm not trying to sell anything, but if you are interested in the cards, they are on my website, skybradshaw.com. Why don't we just say how we feel? Let's get real and spell out the deal. Nothing will prosper if we let it congeal. Speak with kindness, yet without regret. When done with love, no one is upset. Bring awareness to the energy of self-judgment. Do you often think and not speak and then regret it later? Do emotions and energies build up until they spill out of your mouth uncontrollably? And we can bring this back to the lesson. Do you know why that happens? Because they weren't getting appropriate amounts of attention to come out appropriately. So they build up and then they spill out. The energy of judgment and denial in the throat chakra. Bring awareness to your tendency to both think and not speak, self-denial, or to let judgments spill out of your mouth too easily. Both reactions have the same energetic and emotional impact and usually lead to being unheard. When we know how we feel at our core about a topic or decision, then we can express it in a way that can be heard by the recipient of our voice. Energy action. Today, think of a conversation you want to have with someone in a loving way. Allow yourself to explore where the urge or the need to be heard comes from. Are you using the critic, judgment, to push you in a particular direction? Are you keeping quiet using denial as a means to control the outcome? What would happen if you tapped into this in your truth and gently spoke your mind? That's card number 31. All right. I hope that you are all well and that you are in good spirits, that you feel safe, and that you are at peace, and that you always be your soul.